competitive mindset you're playing, you are in a 5-on-2, 5-on-3, and you still throw it all away.
I think it's that that cockiness that kind of gets into the game sometimes.
You want
people,
frags.
People that think
Dreamers like you.
Yes, well, but you think okay, we've got a 2-man advantage here. This is pretty easy. We can start playing a little bit more aggressive. Let's hunt out those last few players. But before you know it, you might push out, with one player, you get into some sort of 1v1 situation. Or if you're even more unlucky, you run into 2 people of the enemy team, and then it's an even easier fight for them. Good odds of it becoming a 4v3. And then before you know it, it has to be one more engagement. And surprise, it's a 3v3 now. You're back at equal odds, and you might actually lose this round that was just going so well for you.
Now, would you dare to say that for the CTs, staying alive is possibly even more important than going for an opening frag? Because we've personally had it, or at least talked about it previously, that whenever you have a trade going on, it's still favoring the T side because they get more room, which the CTs can't hold anymore.
Well, I think that's a general point to make, because at the end of the day, it's more important for the CTs to stay alive in general because they just have to defend the site. If they go aggressive and they try and get some sort of opening frag, whilst it may be fun as CT, it's better to just really play it following the rule book, so to speak.
Bait out utility.
Hold out your angles, bait out utility, just stay in your lane, so to speak, stay on your spot and make sure that, the enemy doesn't push through. Worst case, fall back a little bit. I think of that ramp position, for example. Share the intel, call it out to your teammates and make sure that, the important stuff, the important info gets spread around and rotate according to it, as long as you still have a full team. The only situations where I'd say it might be important for a CT to try and get that opening frag is if you're trying to go against momentum, if you want to push in ahead against the enemy team, and if you want to surprise them.
Now, of course, those opening kills might always be necessary if you do want to get an early advantage in, but now we will see the first map going on. Welcome to Heretics taking on Team QUESO. It will be Nuke. The first map picked up by Heretics, of course, is one of their favorites. 73% win rate, over 11 times played in the previous 3 months, and that might actually increase with this map as well.
Definitely a good odds of it there. You can also see the v.gg betting odds there as well, they kind of heavily favor Team Heretics, to be quite honest, and that shows a lot as well. Now, we do have a knife coming in here. There is some, faffing about a little bit, so to speak, but eventually there will be an engagement. Goes in now, and let's see, it does start to look like the knife might actually go to Team QUESO.
Yeah, Spanish are just ready to cut up the cheese and be ready for, of course, this first round. Most likely they will start on CT because, definitely it is favored, but it might actually be one of those things where I've talked about it with Benelux teams as well.
Yeah.
They've said sometimes it's best to start on the T side, and it might be due to you being able to at least control the pace, make sure that teams do have to fear either your push or your intel gain, and if you see how teams will actually play on the CT side first, you know how they will most likely approach their T side as well. Starting on the CT side, if you go quite aggressive, you will go for very early peaks as a T side as well, and then you can actually counter-nade that as well on your CT side.
Absolutely, and that's one of those tactics that you have to kind of try to employ and make sure, the things that you have to do to try and get a good opportunity there, an opening pick, so to speak, or some sort of good angle to play off and to actually try and turn your round into a win. Because that's, at the end of the day, that's the more vital thing to do and the most important thing to do, I dare say. And let's see now who might actually be going into this first round and ending it with a win.
It's going to be Team QUESO still picking up that CT side. It's going to be Mick trying to peek out against the players in Yard. And with the USP, he will fall back, gets the first kill onto Maka as well. And it means Heretics might be in a little bit of trouble, as well as Mick will get a second kill. Goes for the third, but Kiyoshima will be there in time to get one in return.
Absolutely, that might even it out a little bit, although now it starts to look like it's somewhat turned around. Whilst Lucky also managed to get the frag on the Claren there, that leaves only Yaba, it was a bit of a difficult name to pronounce due to the Spanish origin, along with Thinkle. And we'll see if they might be able to turn it around a little bit. Who knows if they have a good opening chance here or there. It is at the end of the day, QUESO here that is playing on the defensive, you could say, but Heretics right now might be looking for a better opening, might be seeing where they can get that bomb in and get it on site.
And Ivera's just holding on, hoping a player will peek him in secret, as of course the side of Team QUESO might want to try to equalize the score. It's something we see quite often, and usually it brings a unfair fight in favor of Heretics right now. It's Jabba holding on with the 5-7, gets the first frag onto Nivera as well, goes for a second, will take down Kiyoshima, only Lucky alive, will be in a crossfire as well, but gets the first kill, goes for a second, but he can't make it work. It's going to be Jabba and Team QUESO with the first map of, or at least the first map, the first round
you're
of this
already,
tournament. I'm believing in Team QUESO.
You're running ahead of things, I dare say, but who knows, QUESO off to a very good start there. Heretics now looking to go for, well, what I dare say is just an eco now. Not much point in trying to buy now. They did not even get a bomb plant or anything of the sort, so not really worthwhile.
It's going to be Kiyoshima just standing by here, trying to act cool and probably talking to the rest of his team, saying that this first round really went to shambles. We're not all too happy about this one, as we do see the MP9 rush coming in from the Claren. So far not really dealing any damage, trying to fall back as well, as of course going into a Glock fest might be a little bit scary.
Definitely a scary fight to go against. I think that's the best, well, thing Heretics can try here. They have those Glocks. They have to really just make the best out of it. Maybe just set up a sort of crossfire and go for the rapid fire nature of the Glocks to actually get the frags. But at the best, they can hope for some economy damage here to Team QUESO and not really much more. I don't really see a win, or well, a round win happening here anytime soon for Heretics.
XMS standing close by, so little or actually no investment coming in from the T side, and yet they are playing it quite patiently, possibly even talking about the strats they will run later on in towards this map, as the first kill will come in from Jabba on towards Lucky. The rest of the team will try to chase, but Jabba with a triple kill already will now be faced by Nivera, the sole player remaining for Heretics, but at least is one frag, and that deals a little bit of economic damage. The M4 actually out of bullets, so he'll have to reload, and not even a skin. Jabba, I'm not really disappointed, I'm just a bit sad.
A little bit sad. Yeah, well, at the end of the day, it is Claren who manages to get the frag, Nivera taken out there, and QUESO who win their second round. Nivera, of course, as previously highlighted, the brother of Scream, so to speak, who's now making a career for himself. Manages to, or well, managed for a moment there to get his hands on the M4, but sadly that won't be taken to the next round. So we will now see if with a buy coming in this time around, Heretics will get a better chance if they might actually, be able to use their utility, their AKs to turn this round around and see if they can get the frags, get the possible round win and start their own little streak.
Of course, Team QUESO has this as a bonus round. Still, those two MP9s P coming in here from Maka. It's going to be a Galil, not the best weapon to work with, but at least it's going to be Mick to fall. And that is actually most of the control on towards Yard already gained. The Claren has that AUG, might actually be able to do something there as well, but he's been tagged up and has already fallen back.
And with that, falling back on that ramp position should be a little bit reminiscent for you, of course. What you've also highlighted previous in the pre-discussion of this map. Now we'll see if he does manages to maintain his hold on the site. Goes back through Squeaky now and has to see if he can maybe at least keep control of the site by holding a bit of a more defensive position. A rotation from his teammates might be coming in. And with that, the site being defended a little bit better.
It's Heretics just playing the slow game, trying to at least make QUESO make the mistake, but QUESO so far has probably banked on not trying to go all too aggressive, because that's often the mistake the teams make against higher rated players as well. Here we see a peek from Kiyoshima working out in his favor, might have been danged, but still it's Jabba going down, and now Pinky will be standing by with the MP9, gets a double kill before he gets traded out. The problem is that also the Claren will go down, and eventually Humans on the side will be the last player remaining, and he too will fall. 2-1 Heretics with their first round on the board after their first buy round as well.
And also managed to maintain quite a lot of the weaponry that they had in that round. At least does have to be a little bit of it spread around, and to make sure that they do maintain the, well, weapon advantage, so to speak. Because QUESO now, obviously, well, they don't really have the best options anymore, although they have seemed to have, well, kind of forced it here. You can see it with the MP7 there, for example, with the other weapons also in running. Not the best options, but they'll make it work somehow, I expect.
Oh, I'm a little bit flustered by Declaren actually not buying armor with his Deagle on this force buy from the side of Team QUESO. Great flashbang by XMS, by the way. If there would have been a rush, maybe it would have worked, but still it seemed a little bit silly as now Maka takes down Mick once more with the AUG taken from his opponents earlier on. But his auto shotty might come in handy later on as Finky now takes down Kiyoshima, brings it back to a 4-on-4 with the push coming in. XMS will have to get the kill, and he will. Finky, however, going on the aggressive once more, but will fall to Nivera, leaving it into a 4-on-1 as Nivera gets a double. And that means this might actually be the equalizer of the score.
Especially with only the Declaren left alive, a Deagle in his hands and not any armor whatsoever, like you said there just now. Makes it quite the, well, difficult situation for him to win out of. Can see him kind of coming back now, or pushing through to Lobby a little bit. Might actually even be going for the smoke. He has managed to recover that auto shotty from his teammate. And if he manages to get a frag now with this, there is a decent chance, you know, to get one at least. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be the turnaround. He's not going to get the round like that. He's patient enough, saw the player there. But Lucky peeks earlier and actually gets the frag on him. That makes it the equalizer, 2v2 now. Heretics, who've caught up to Team QUESO and who, well, maybe now are going to start their own streak, who just had a little bit of a bad start because, as we've highlighted before, it is, well, Team Heretics that have a considerable preference on this map, so to speak. It's nuke. It's a, well, 37% win rate for them, which is a considerable amount to go up against, especially if you're a team like QUESO.
And one thing that, just a little bit of a micromanagement tip. If you're looking at a player, or at least the last play to come in, Lucky will always go for the squeaky door peek. So you can't really make that work with the auto shot if you don't go full sprinting. Maka, meanwhile, being flashed out, will go for the aggressive peek. It's going to be him and Lucky to get 3 kills in total already. And another player will be found as well. Humans out of the count. Jabba the Soul Man standing in a 1v5, and well, this is unfortunate for him, but at least he can still try to get a kill until XMS will chime in. That's a clean 3-2. Heretics already recovering from that early mishap.
It was a nice attempt at the end, but he was actually way faster there, and at the end, Heretics does take the 3rd round now. A shame that QUESO now might have to go on a bit of a loss, and you can already see in Team Heretics, especially with, well, all the weapons that they've managed to preserve, they are already starting to build up some decent reserves now. It means that they might not have to have the, well, potential round losses. The 1 or 2 that might still sneak in there be the end of the day. Well, the end of the map, perhaps.
AWP will be picked up. Glass Cannon. I think that's something in the lines of Declaren his style, because also on that Deagle he didn't buy any armor to go with it. Maybe it was a actual decision trying to save up some money for this weapon as well, so then we will understand. And now we see Mick trying to go a little bit aggressive through this smoke as well. Will be tagged up, will go for the peak soon. I have the feeling he had to push right there, because you know Lucky will eventually be out of bullets, will have to reload, and the moment you will peek at that moment in time, there's nothing he can do about it.
Yeah, but a bit of a shame that he didn't decide to go for the push there. I guess he was scared off somewhat by the shots being landed on him and didn't have the foresight to think about the fact that he is going to run out of bullets soon enough indeed. We'll see. At the end of the day, it's only Mick who's been tagged a little bit. It's still a 5v5 now, and there are good opportunities, especially if the Declaren manages to open it up like that. Maka taken out, but the second AWP shot doesn't really seem to connect. That means just a fall back towards Heaven, where Nivera is already pushed up quite close and could become a nasty surprise for Team QUESO in a moment.
Declaren will not expect the angle from down below, making it back into a 4-on-4. AWP will be denied. Pressure on towards the A-side spray, not as clean, and it will be Finky with the kill. Mick now also with a follow-up onto XMS. Great refrags coming in right here from Team QUESO. And they're 1 member up at this moment in time. Actually, the AWP to be recovered as well if they need be. It's going to be Yaba with another frag, meaning only Lucky is alive, but he has the C4 and will be able to plant it here on B.
He's going to toss the smoke now to keep him covered. They should at least have that planned, and the reserves that they have coming in, well, pretty good now, because that means that they aren't really facing such a terrible loss. They'll be able to still buy and all that, but still, it's going to be down to Lucky now. If he might be able to hold the squeaky position, he should be able to see the door open. I don't also really see any more utility except for... Oh, that was a good nade there, but he doesn't seem to connect. Humans gets the frag. Lucky taken out with that in QUESO. Is able to go for the defuse now, and with that, managed to equalize it out again. 3v3, and, well, it is going surprisingly difficult for Heretics, I dare say. More difficult than we, I think, both anticipated.
Yeah, meanwhile, we have a very good, or at least a better economy coming in from Team QUESO, saving free weapons. But still, on the side of Heretics, they will be able to buy up some AK, some utility as well. And I think they won't be too sad about that round loss. At least it's still a 3-on-3. They've already got a decent start here on the T side. And it can only get better from here. There's still so many rounds to play around with and so much room to exploit. Possibly no AWP on the side of Heretics, however, seemingly to favor more aggression with those AKs going towards the A side as well. Molly will be there, but it's going to be Humans with her first nade kill, also with a follow with the M4. Gets another one as Jabba will take down XMS as well, leaving it into a 1-on-4 situation for Nivera, standing by at the T side fence. And, well, I'm not too sure, but I'm thinking he will not be able to clutch this.
Really? You don't believe in, you know, the brother of Scream? No. Sadly, it doesn't quite look like it. It's actually Humans who at the end gets 4 frags in that single round. A very good performance of his there, and kind of similar to what he pulled off in the last round. And that makes it so that QUESO now grabs the advantage. 4 rounds for them and only 3 for Heretics. Once again, not going as smoothly for Heretics as we might have anticipated, but QUESO might also still be having some luck. You've got the CT side, which is, you'd say, a little bit in their favor. But even then, you know, I do throw back to that ranking. Team QUESO, who are at 211, and Heretics, who are at 41. They should be having a much easier time trying to, well, win the rounds here.
These nades going in should have and could have actually dealt a lot more damage. His lucky now goes in towards Secret as the sole player for the side of Heretics. The rest is constantly still trying to play around the lobby area as Mick will see the player chime by, but at the double doors there will be some support from Jabba. First kill once more going in favor of the Spanish side, and now there will be some contest coming in from Ram, but the Claren will also get a kill into XMS there.
And with that, it is a 5v3 situation now where Heretics is, well, in a tough and somewhat nasty position, also running out of utility rather quickly. Only 2 mollies and a flash left there, which means that now they're going to have to find a somewhat decent opening peek here somewhere, see if they can get a frag and still manage to make it up on a site. But the site control from Team QUESO seems to be good enough for now. Molly's in hand and is going to be thrown out. This time going towards main, the other one flying in. It is Kiyoshima who manages to get the frag, but the refrag is immediately there. Nivera does manage to get Thinkley. And with that, it is a 2v3 now. The bomb plant is actually down. There's a good opportunity here. Depends on the shots from the AWP in the hands of Maka, but that doesn't really seem to connect. It's still 3v2 now.
Yeah, from heaven there will be a player coming in as well as the Claren will fall to Nivera. Back to a 2-on-2, but Mick might actually have a good angle here trying to spot the players, but Maka with another frag makes it into a round win for Heretics. And this is actually the first round where this side of Heretics didn't have an opening kill. They managed to win the round. So conversion for Team QUESO going down a little bit, but still 4 rounds in total against a way better ranked team. Isn't too shabby, as well as this being the map pick of Heretics, of course.
Yes, I suppose it is good to focus on what makes Team QUESO the sort of better team for now, or well, up to now. They seem to be better at holding the sites when necessary at times, although you can also see that in situations like the previous round where whilst they had ramp control, it didn't really follow through in the end with the A site being taken anyway. Now quite the aggressive position taken up here by the Claren, and he does get the frag from that, Lucky going down. And that makes it a one man less on the Heretic side, and once again off to a potentially worse start.
And with a little bit of a shabby buy from the side of Team QUESO, this is actually a very important opening kill. 2 MP9s and a auto shotty as well. The best weaponry to go up against those AKs, and of course the AWP from Maka. More fire will be exchanged as XBest takes down Mick. More chase will come in. Jabba with the auto shotgun will get 2 kills. And that means there's still a player lead in favor of the side of Team QUESO. However, the bomb plant might actually come in soon as the B side has been taken by the side of Heretics. The door will open, the Claren will be flashed. The timing was impeccable, but Finky with a refrag onto Maka will drop the bomb as well. 2-on-1, and XMS will be standing by here, hoping to possibly get at least 1 kill, make it doable, but he's faking to possibly go towards the A side as it is currently clear.
It is clear, but the question is he actually going to get the plant down now? He does get a proper good frag on Humans there, means that Thinkle, well, might have to rotate around. XMA gets the plant in the meantime, and that means that now he can actually play the after plant. 1v1 situation, he can play it patiently now, try and force think he'll out of those angles and see what he can make do with it.
Of course, the winner of this match will be rewarded 500 euros already, as it is the reward for winning in the group stage. Winning the group stage entirely will also mean you will get an additional 1,000 euros, as XMS will have an easy frag on towards Finky, who came with Rotate, of course, from Heaven. That makes a lot of noise, and there's no real contest going in the end of that round. A 1v1, and Heretics now taking the lead with 1 round as well.
Still having quite some reserves on them too, which is going to help in the further rounds. But still, QUESO is putting in an admirable effort, I dare say. And yeah, I do wonder, is this going to be a bit to and fro? Is it going to be QUESO that gets around now, Heretics that gets the other one? I somewhat doubt it. It is QUESO that have a considerably worse buy. Good nade coming in there potentially, but doesn't deal as much damage as anticipated. Only Lucky and Maka tag there for about a fourth of their HP.
There's going to be a USP setup here. One player with a deagle, that will be Jabba. Already taking some decent frags so far, but now the utility will come in. Some flash as well. There will be an early warning frag coming in from Lucky. Nivera with a refrag from the silo as well. But the cover is terrible. Jabba with another kill, making it a 3-on-2, and the damage has already been dealt so far from the side of Team QUESO. Maka standing on top of the boxes is quite risky, but luckily they managed to clear out the rest of the round without losing any more players. And Heretics actually, well, not too happy about that result, I dare to say.
No, absolutely not, because there was way too much economy damage there against Heretics, especially how they lost 2 players, against which at the end of the day was just an eco, basically. Maybe, you know, you had that one pistol and a little bit of utility, but not more. They shouldn't have lost as many players as they did. They should still be able to buy around it, and as you can see, they can. But it's still not ideal, you know. It's wasted money, so to speak. It's money you'd rather see in the reserves or see going elsewhere.
Kyoshima standing by as Mick is playing aggressive here on Yard. Will get the first frag, but has a
knife?
the knife as well, all towards Lucky. Finky will get a follow-up onto XMS. Nivera will get one in return, but the refrags are magnificent from the side of Team QUESO. Flashes, however, will be quite annoying. Mick now currently coming in the flank in lobby. This will not be expected by the player with the bomb, but it's going to be Maka with a great flick. Brings it back to a 2-on-2. And still there is a chance that actually Team QUESO will lose this round. However, they had that very good start and still have some decent angles, but will they be expecting the player close by on the right? The Claren will deal some damage. It's going to be QUESO falling to Jabba. Double kill for the player in Heaven. And Team QUESO will get towards 5 rounds for themselves.
And it's still really surprising how QUESO is putting down such a good performance. I dare say that we might have underestimated them a little bit so far from what we can see. QUESO, who are now 1 round away from the equalizer, whilst Heretics, who have just kind of thrown a full investment in there, are now dealing with a rather tougher financial situation. And you see that coming in now as well. It is the CZ, the upgraded pistols here and there, but not really much more than that, which means it's a solid chance for QUESO to equalize this out, make it a 6v6 now in sense of rounds. And towards the end of the first half, that is a worrying result, especially looking towards Team Heretics. The Claren does open it properly there, and quickly the 3 frags just fly by. Before you know it, it's only Nivera left standing, the Belgian player on the Team Heretics side, who does get a frag on Yaba, but doesn't manage to get the second, as Thinky takes him out, and with that, QUESO gets the equalizer. 6 rounds for both teams on both sides.
Yeah, the lack of head armor was concerning on the side of Team QUESO, losing 1 member due to it, because I think the aim punch would have been a little bit less if he did have that Kevlar helmet as well. You seem a little bit confused, as we do see Team QUESO now just being ready and have a decent buy, but the problem is Heretics after that eco. However, not getting the plant, will be able to buy into it as well with the AWP on towards Mecca. And who will take the lead from this 6-6 stalemate?
Yes, I was confused there because I managed to turn the AC on. I don't know how I did
special,
it.
You know.
Yeah, I am, I guess, in a way, but still, doesn't matter. It was just bothering me a tiny bit. We'll see now this 13th round starts off well. It's the Claren again who can open it up. Also takes out one of the, well, star plays of Heretics, I dare say. Kyoshima out of the running, and with that a 4v5 now. Heretics, who are once again not looking at the most positive of situations, especially not if Yaba there manages to get another frag. 3v5. And this is a situation that is looking more and more to be going towards Team QUESO, especially with the Claren just continuing. Gets the frag on Lucky there. 2v5 now. You almost say that it's starting to look like Team QUESO might even out this first, well, half with a potential round advantage, which is really not ideal, but maybe a little bit expected. They are playing on the CT side, but even then,
it could go either way still. However, Heretics is not out of this half just yet. Of course, this round might be a little bit hard in a 2v4 situation. AWP in the hands of XMS as he has now traded out, but then they don't expect the player to be in main, which is rather odd, and that means that Nivera will fall. Make the last frag onto XMS as well. The AWP will fall, meaning that the lead once more goes to the Spanish side. And it is concerning for the side of Heretics that if QUESO wins this map, we then go to their, well, comfort zone, Inferno, and that's just really reliant on how you use your utility. And so far from the side of Team QUESO, I've actually been quite happy with how they put down their nades and stuff.
It hasn't been the worst utility usage, definitely not. And to highlight the danger of it going to Inferno, Inferno being one of the only maps that, well, Team QUESO, statistically from what we've seen, has actually been quite good on. One of their preferred maps, we dare say, and, well, also obviously one of their picks. So it is a big danger for Heretics to invite, and who knows, it might actually be the reverse. It might be, you know, Team QUESO going for the 2-0 map score there, which would surprise the both of us, but which is starting to look more and more possible. Yaba now falling back. In the meantime, it's XMS who gets the frag for Team Heretics. Now equalizing out the player count, 4v4 now. And with that, we'll see how it goes. Looks to be a more of a ramp push now. Heretics who have to try their best and try and actually get onto this site, and with that get the plant. But it might be Yaba who kind of folds that plan. Doesn't look like it though, because Kiyoshima just gets the deagle kill. And with that, the plant also goes down now.
That's just a teeny tiny choke coming in as we now have that 4-on-3 situation. A decent amount of weapons recovered as well by the side of Heretics. Down some angles. It's going to be Maka losing out that fight on towards Mick, equalizing the score and taking away one of their most important weapons at AWP. There's an AK close by on these double doors. Some shots will be going in. Kiyoshima will get a kill, but Finky with a double will get a triple as well. But does he have the time to defuse? I believe he does. Meaning that Team QUESO miraculously has recovered this round as well and still have that lead going in their favor.
Lead in their favor, and still more and more positive things are looking for them when we are going towards the second half, especially now with us being in the last round of the first half. And with that, before you know it, it could be a 9-6 now. It could also turn around. It could be Heretics who at least grab that final round. They do have the economy for it. They do have the weaponry for it at least. But it is a somewhat equal battle here. You see a pretty much full buy on both teams. The utility is there, the AKs are there, and even an AWP on both sides.
The Claren once more aggressive with the AWP, spots a player on towards the silo, still gets tagged up, but gets the kill onto Nivera as well. Going even more aggressive here at the yard area. Flashbang from one of his teammates is Yaba. Now with the other AWP takes down XMS. Two-player advantage already coming in from Team QUESO. Lucky will get one kill in return. Brings it back to a 4-on-3, but still, Heretics is hurting all over, and I'm not really sure how they managed to be able to get back into this round because, well, the room is currently for Team QUESO. AWP still on Jabba. Could play that from heaven, but also just a solo hold to the ramp area. They just don't know where Heretics is, but they just have an assumption that it will be around that outside area.
And it is a good assumption they are around there, but now you've got Yaba, for example, coming out of Secret, and he could be a thorn on their side. The smoke is there for now. He's going to actually re-smoke that, try and delay an advance into Secret, but look at this. Thinky coming in clutch, can be from the top of Silo, takes out two players on the Heretic side, and with that leaves only Lucky alive, who's going for an engagement, but doesn't even manage to win it. It is Thinky who gets the third frag, and Team QUESO who, well, finish off this first half with a 9-6 scoreline. And with that, Team QUESO definitely playing with, well, much better than we anticipated, and also having a serious, well, advantage now going into their T side in a moment.
Yeah, the ratings are coming in from the players. Of course, I think Heretics might be a team that decides to be able to have a little bit of a talk before they go in towards the CT side, because their performance so far has been far off their pace, which they normally bring to the table, especially on towards Nuke. We said it before, their win rate on this map is 73% out of 11 maps played so far, and this does really hurt. Curious to see if they manage to bring it back in the second half. Now they will be on that CT side. And with the USPs going into the first round, they should be wary of a rush from the Team QUESO side.
Also a tactic that you can anticipate more from Team QUESO. What I've seen so far is Team QUESO also really playing aggressive at times, but the problem is that when they play aggressive, it actually works out for them. Not so much a problem for them, but definitely a problem for Team Heretics, and something that they have to learn how to deal with if they still want to get this map win, which they also, once again, statistically should be able to get. They have a 73% win rate. Nuke is one of their best maps, but now, for some reason, it's just really not showing.
Now we see Nivera with the USP sneakily peeking over that box right there, hoping to spot out ahead of a player from Team QUESO. On this range, of course, the Glock is quite unfortunate because you can't get a one-shot kill. P250 could actually, but we don't see a real raid boss coming in. The Claren will have that pistol upgrade, but not sure if he will be able to go that aggressive, as we do see Lucky being tagged up. That will be on the yard, I do assume, because he's played there on the T side as well quite often, as Kushima has a good flash on towards the Claren. And that does slow down things. 1 minute left on the clock, and Team QUESO hasn't made a move just yet.
No, that flash there, slowing things down just a little bit, but not really meaning much more than that. It is a quite delayed game for now. We can slowly but surely see a push coming in now. Flash gets thrown in, ramp control is taken, and now there is a good potential for QUESO to actually get on top of this B site, depending on who gets the frag. For now, good utility usage by QUESO. Manages to lead well, but we've got Nivera coming in clutch here with a double kill so far. Taps away with the USPS. And with that, it's a free... Make it 2v4 now. Another engagement here. XMS does finish it off, and it's only the Claren left alive. Now he can open it by Squeaky Door. Gets the frag on Maka, but is it going to stay with just that frag? It seems like it, as Nivera grabs the kill, and now they can go for the defuse, and Heretics can actually grab the first round on the second half.
Yeah, scary point thing is that they lost Kiyoshima on the side of Heretics, and that was a player actually carrying that defuse kit as well. They had to recover that later on, and well, Team QUESO did what they could do, at least got the plant in, and that means they don't have a very bad economy going into the next round. A lot of teams actually decide to buy in this round as well, hoping that might actually grant them a round, or at least put some pressure on towards Heretics, their economy. But on Nuke, I dare to say it's better to save. Possibly get a deagle in for the players that have a lot of money, and then hope to win with the AKs in the next round, expecting the CT side to bring some MP9s to the table.
Yeah, as it might be a sort of bonus round for them where they are more likely to still have those SMGs in their hands. We'll see. For now, it is a bit of a delayed start. It does seem to be sensible, and it does seem to be the choice that QUESO is making. A small technical pause coming in for just a moment. That will be over in a jiffy, so to speak, before you know it. And then we should be able to fly right back into it and see if QUESO will actually reach the double digits, or if it's going to be Heretics that are slowly but surely going to build up towards the equalizer, and after that try and, well, get a bit of a move on, so to speak, and maybe win Nuke as you would anticipate, as you would expect from them, and a bit more according to, well, our expectations, which at the end of the day, they are just our expectations. It doesn't mean that that's how the harsh reality is going to turn out, which might mean that Team QUESO, a team that is on the 211th spot in HLTV ranking, is going to win from Team Heretics, a team that's on the 41th spot, 41st even. Nice.
Smooth.
Testing
Getting there.
Absolutely.
We see an investment coming in from Fink. He has no money left in towards the pockets of himself, so I would expect that to maybe be a hero AK to come in from Team QUESO. We see that more and more often nowadays, hoping to possibly gain an advantage via that way. But now we do see Team QUESO actually investing full with all players. A force buy coming in, the Deagles raiding Supreme already from the T-spawn, trying to open up the windows above the A side to get a decent stack going. Let's go towards the door, possibly a drop towards the B side via the fence. Is going to be Mick to go first with the Rec 9 in hands. He's all lonesome. No team members to back him up. They're trying to slow it down, possibly to flank around via ramp.
And it looks like that might be working. Maka gets taken out. Humans with a Deagle headshot there. Molly gets thrown down to delay any possible reinforcements coming in, but it is Nivera who can hold it off just a little bit longer until Thinky manages to refrag him. With that now, Team Queso should be able to get further on that side, but look at this here. XMS coming in the flank, and he should be able to provide a nasty surprise, although the smoke is thrown well, and he is actually spotted out from window. Thinky now getting the intel from the Claren and getting the frag on him, which means only Lucky is left, one man standing, one lone person who I'm afraid doesn't stand much of a chance anymore against Team Queso and might actually decide to save this all.
It's the most sensible thing to do. Mick actually picking up that PP Bison brought to the table by Kyoshima. A dreadful weapon, AP shooter, so to say, as we do see Lucky get another kill on towards Mick. I think he would be quite hurt if he would have fallen towards that PP Bison with full armor, as now there will be a second exit, so there will be a little bit of waste coming in from the side of Team Queso. Financial-wise, of course, the weapons themselves weren't that valuable, but the armor and possibly utility that they brought to the table in the next round could have actually helped them out massively on the long run.
And you do have to sort of play for the long run here. Think of the long-term investments, think of the end goal of this map, and well, the end goal for Team Queso obviously being winning this map and then being able to get it towards Inferno, and then potentially, which once again would be against expectations but would be very interesting to see happen, potentially winning out Inferno, one of their better maps, one of their best maps, you dare even say, and then turning it around, kind of knocking Heretics down to the loser bracket.
And so far, we do see Team Queso doing really well on towards opening kills. If I counted correctly, which we will assume I did, in
hopefully
13 of the rounds so far, we've seen Team Queso actually getting that opening kill. Sometimes it has been refragged, meaning that Heretics has a little bit of a possibility to still bounce back. And now we see Lucky actually with the opening kill, also followed from XMS, will get a triple. That's a very fast round coming in from Heretics to bounce back towards their 8th. And that is going to be quite interesting. Okay, something I didn't expect, but with that opening kill from Lucky, there at least was a possibility.
I mean, you know, it is understandable with a CZ in hand, but you never really quite expect that the CZ is going to be that good. A replay coming in now as well. You can see it here. XMS goes for the first frag, gets the head there, and goes for the third eventually with a nice little spray down with the CZ. Rapid fire rate coming in there as well. With that, Heretics now on the 8th round, and who knows, maybe this is also the turnaround for them. They could be going towards double digits themselves now if they keep up a little bit, if they try and equalize it. Although, it doesn't start that well. It is Queso, Team Queso, who can open it up with the Claren once again. A consistent opening fragger for them.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate for the side of Team Heretics that the Claren has been so on fire with the AWP, actually glass cannon in towards this round, as well as Tinky with his Deagle. But it's worked out. At least they have some room to work with. At least they created a weak spot towards Yard, because of course the player that usually plays around main is also one of your Yard contenders. We will see Nivera get a return frag. Not sure why. Actually, Mick tried to have a 1v1 there without any utility and without any support.
And that is always a nasty situation to be in. You do need that utility. You need that support to pull a way better result out from your top hat, so to speak. It does start well now. Nivera can turn it around a little bit, gets a frag there, but in the meantime, it's Humans who takes out Maka. 3v3 now, evened out the playing field, which means a good chance for Heretics or Queso, depending on how you look at it, to actually get the round win. Does look like Yaba there takes out XMS, and with that, they could now grab control of the A site. Plant also coming in, but what's also coming in is Nivera, and he gets the first frag. Thinky taken out. There goes the engagement. Gets the second. Yaba is out. Ace? No. Ace denied. Kiyoshima says, no ace for you. Defuse does come in now, and I guess that's the best Nivera could have hoped for, at least after that ace was denied so harshly from him.
Yeah, Kyoshima still on the prowl to try and grab that AWP. He will. Grabs an AK as well for Nivera, just to make sure that he will be on his best behavior going in towards the next round. Eventually the round will go in favor of Heretics, closing the gap back to 1. And this means that they still have a chance to equalize the score and win this map, because so far they haven't seemed to be that strong. The T side from Team Queso, surprising to say the least. Opening kills going in their favor more often than not. And let's see if Heretics can eventually bounce back. We'll have that AWP, we'll have that AK, and of course some great M4s to work with.
Yeah, it's definitely the next round now, or well, this round being a sort of milestone for Heretics. If they can reach the double digits themselves now and actually get the equalizer, there's a good opportunity for them to sort of turn it around a little bit, play on that CT side. It does start well because XMS goes for the triple kill. That is 3 players taken out on the Team Queso side. Lucky in the meantime, and XMS, he doesn't quite finish it off. It is Nivera who grabs the frag there, but for a moment, I truly and well believe that he might have gotten a USB-S 4th kill there.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that Heretics has now equalized the score, but is also doing a little bit better slowly on their opening kills. So far, they've just given Team Queso so much room, especially with the AWP on towards the Claren, but also some great peaks coming in for instance, Mick and Finky. Now they are bringing it back slowly, at least have the economy building up as well. As you can see, they have some reserves going in their favor. But will they be able to actually extend that as well? Will they be able to win this round? Because, well, the setup from Team Queso utility-wise is quite scarce. So the chance of Heretics actually pulling away here and actually getting possibly 1, 2, maybe 3 rounds in a row is quite likely.
It's potentially a possibility, to put it very, well, in a very airy way.
Very vague.
Yes, very vague indeed. Well, I kind of have to see how it runs out, because right now it all depends on the A-site push. And in the meantime, it is Maka who denies somewhat of the possibilities from Team Heretics. XMS, who tries to sacrifice himself, stays in that volley, but doesn't get a frag because of it. It is Lucky there who throws it around a little bit, but look at Thinky opening up the site like that and keeping his eyes on heaven.
Keeping it peeled as Nivera, of course, will go through Hut once again. Jabba will have to hold Hut, as the rest of his team will also be on pressure.
Jabba the Hut?
Jabba the Hut. I had to throw it out there once in a while. Nivera will be peeked out by the Claren. A little bit of crossfire coming up from Team Queso, and once more they will take that lead. And Robert Jan, I'm just so flustered.
You don't understand,
it's going south for Heretics, and this round they had the opening kill. Then you think, all right, they have a decent chance.
Absolutely.
But then on towards that A side, they don't hit their shots. There isn't any counter utility the time the push comes in. And they just get beat from so many angles. A player from the CT fence always has to focus on Squeaky Door. But there's so much going on around him. So little pressure going on towards heads from the rest of his team. I believe no player from Heretics on towards the rafters. It was too easy for the players of Team Queso to grab him.
One could say that those are some fundamental mistakes that the Heretics are making, which are throwing the round wins into Team Queso's lap. Problem being that, especially now as we're getting towards the tail end of this map, it is getting more and more dangerous by the minute. If Team Queso gets a couple of more critical rounds, before you know it, they'll have won the map pick from Team Heretics themselves. They decided to go on Nuke, but I don't think that they decided to have such a incredibly hard time on this map.
Indeed, it's going to be Team Queso slowing things down, expecting Heretics now once more being down to make a stupid move, I dare to say, or at least a mistake.
Bold.
Yeah, well, the moment they go aggressive against Team Queso, which you know is going or at least playing on towards their executes, it's easier just to wait and see what they will do. At least use your utility properly this time around, because last round we didn't see that all too often. As we now see a execute going on towards the B side. Maka will get a kill. Nivera as well. The AWP will take one, and it's going to be Maka closing the door as well
Maka.
For the player as for the team of Team Queso, equalizing the score together with his team. 11 will be for them as well as for Team Queso. And will they now finally be able to get a lead once more? Because Heretics, they really need to step up this time.
A little bit of a replay again. Look at Maka, how strong his hold is here near Squeaky Door.
Just
gets
a
the second frag, and yep, at the end makes it for the third. Very well played by him, and Heretics deservedly get the 11th round from that. Problem being that with the 11th round, it is going a bit to and fro. You've got Team Queso now also on 11 rounds. It's an equal situation. It can be, well, going any kind of way from both sides. It all depends. Right now, Team Queso is looking a bit less fortunate. Their economy is not that good. They have had to kind of go for upgraded pistols at best, a bit of a save. And with that, we'll see what they can make out of it.
It's going to be Claren with a Glock trying to run up towards the heaven area. Also spotting a player now as Kiyoshima takes down Finky. It'll be B for Maka, will spot a body falling by as Kiyoshima and Lucky will go on to get more frags. Last kill to come in almost as Maka takes down Jabba, leaving only Mick alive with the Deagle. To spray through the smoke, falling against a spray from the other side. Heretics finally in the lead, of course, winning against an anti-eco. But I have to say something, that Heretics is quite scary. The moment they get the opening kill, their conversion rate so far has been 100%. They just don't get that many opening kills in the first phases of this map. So if they manage to bring that back, especially into these later rounds, I think it will be smooth sailing.
Smooth sailing towards Inferno and smooth sailing towards an at least somewhat more favorable outlook for Team Heretics. Because, well, right now it is not that good. It is Heretics who do have a one-round advantage, but who are struggling much, much harder than the both of us could have possibly imagined. And we'll see if on this buy from Team QUESO, Heretics will get too much resistance. It starts off well. It's Yabo who takes out Kiyoshima, goes for the second as well. XMS taken out. Eyes towards heaven now, whilst the bomb is getting planted. Is thrown down now, and Yaba takes out a bit of a more defensive position. Does still keep his eyes towards, well, main at this point, but also knows that heaven is a constant and permanent threat looming above him.
Maka will get the first kill on towards Mick. Now will be peeked by a player. Unfortunate timing right there as he throws in the incendiary. 3-on-2 situation in favor of Team QUESO. The lead in players once more, and it would be advisable possibly for Heretics to save that AWP and AK going into the next round. Lucky possibly to stand by to get an exit frag, but Team QUESO should not risk it. They don't have any reserves. These 3 players need to survive, and thus they will exit safely via the lobby area, meaning they once more equalize the score. And Robert Jan, maybe on the first map of today, we could actually see overtime already.
It would be a good way to fly into it, wouldn't it be? We've seen, well, the 2 of us have seen quite some overtimes in the last few days, actually, in previous tournaments that we have casted. So who knows, really? I mean, Team QUESO, Heretics, they seem to be more evenly matched than you would say if, you know, if you'd been looking at this match beforehand.
And looking at the stats as well, and looking at the odds as well from V.GG. So far, Heretics, their odds have been insane, but still, Team QUESO is showing to be quite strong as well. Now the AWP on the Claren again, and we've seen him do some wondrous things with that weapon.
Let's see if he can keep, well, making those miracles happen is the right way to put it. Or if it is going to be a sort of turnaround, if it is going to be another situation where the one team gets the round and the other one follows up again. And we're going to and fro. We're playing a little bit of a game of tennis, you could say, or a game of ping pong, where at the end of the day, the result is a tie. It does start out well now. I think he gets the first frag and the Claren follows up, but there is an immediate refrag here from XMS and Maka, who are kind of destroying Team QUESO, suddenly only leaving Yaba. Yaba who goes for a bit of an instinctive spray down there and ends up getting refragged by Maka with a USPS in hand.
Yeah, the HUD isn't as solid as you might actually want it to be. So there is a chance of you getting a kill through it, but unfortunately here for Team QUESO, they lose the round, lose the lead once more, and Heretics slowly getting back into it. They have now a fury of frags. They tried to refrag a little bit better because that has also been lacking on their side so far. But will they be able to close it out? Because it's something which sometimes for a lot of teams is the hardest thing to do. At least we will have either a technical or tactical timeout right now to at least speak things over for the teams at this moment. What would you say if you're a Team QUESO member? Rush and at least refrag. Try to play around the utility, because the utility from Heretics, in my opinion, hasn't been all too great so far.
No, it hasn't been the best. It's been QUESO who have been doing a lot better with their utility actually than you might have, anticipated, might have expected. And with that, I'd say QUESO might have to bank on the mistakes that Heretics is making, the kind of more basic mistakes, the simpler ones that they shouldn't be making in the first place, but that they are making at the end of the day. They have to make use of that, and they have to make sure that they utilize those and really see if they, with that, can get an opening on the bomb side, get a plant down, and sort of play it out like that. Play the time, let it also, well, let it all kind of smoothly run down and get yourself on top of that bomb site and get the bomb also importantly planted. It starts off well. It is frags going to and fro. Once again, XMS with a double kill, but also 2 frags on the side of Team QUESO.
Ignite coming in, Jabba will get 1 kill. It's going to be Kiyoshima with a spray down, gets 2, throws in the nade. Jabba just too far away to actually be tagged up by that, but Kiyoshima with another spray brings it into a 14-12 scoreline. And the Frenchies are actually getting close to a possible map point and, of course, winning their own map pick. Scary thing is that Team QUESO so far has been looking incredibly strong, getting 12 rounds already. actually doing well on either side. And, well, luckily, Kiyoshima was there for Heretics, a player with a lot of experience, a player with a lot of skill as well. And Jabba with the AWP wasn't able to clutch it out, as he had to clutch a 1v2.
And a 1v2 might not always be the easiest to clutch. Those are situations that are achievable in a way, but it's still a serious risk that you're taking there. You see the McLaren dropping down to vents. Just molly it off as well, just in case someone might decide to run through vents themselves. Now, oh, that aggressive ramp push is, I dare say, a little bit successful. You've also got the McLaren who can sort of help out here. And with that together, they should be able to get the bomb planted. Humans going for it now. And the bomb is down. Team QUESO is looking more positive again. Who knows if they turn this round around? If they get this one, they could be looking at a potential equalizer in the next one. A sort of morale boost as well. I think you have to look at it like that too. Whilst the McLaren clearly was looking at XMS and gets the frag there, which only leaves Lucky left over, who has to now try and get onto the side. He does frag the McLaren, make that a second. 1v2 now, but Lucky has so little HP left that it's only one shot from Yaka to take him out. And by the looks of it, that happens. Calculated, smooth, efficient.
And that was a round coming back in favor of Team QUESO. AWP will be saved out as well, but the economy on the Spanish side isn't too good at this moment in time. And I'm not really sure how they will be able to get back in towards this round with a mediocre buy. Luckily, there's still some money left on Heretics, but also their economy is a little bit in shambles. Losing this round, as of course, it has been a little bit of a tennis match, as you said, going back and forth time and time again. But we got our fingers crossed that Heretics will be able to close it out on their map pick, or if we will have the first upset of the tournament in the first match already with Team QUESO, number 211 on the HLTV World Ranking, possibly taking a map of the number 41. And for their favorable ranking, might actually be working out for them, maybe going into the top 200 or even better.
Who knows? I would say that getting a bit of a couple of wins on a competition like this should be a very positive effect on their rating, but we'll see. And it is absurd when you think about it. It is a place difference of 170 ranks, if I've not miscalculated.
You're very smart, you do this.
Yes, yes, I got this. I can do the maths. But point being still, Team QUESO, technically speaking, so far behind, so low, and yet putting down such a quality performance, making such a good impression, actually, on the both of us. And with that, who knows? It might be going towards the equalizer now. It all depends on how good Team QUESO plays this round. I'm seeing Mac 10s.
Yeah, you see Mac 10s going into a full eco from the side of Heretics. This might be money day for the side of Team QUESO, as they're trying to get some control of outside, but also biding their time, being a little bit scared from a push of Heretics. Going in close on towards the ace. Kiyoshima standing by, will spray, but will not get a kill. Nivera, however, takes down Pinky, as we do have Maka also falling. Kiyoshima with no head armor onto Jabba. Why not? Meaning it's now a 2-on-3 situation, and we still have Heretics actually being able to contest this bomb site, as Nivera is standing there with the Mac 10. Head armor on the rest of the players from Team QUESO gives me a little bit of ease of mind. And as Mick now takes down Nivera as well, it's only Lucky alive in a 1v3. This seems to be the equalizer once more, 14-14, soon to be on the scoreboard. But still, I think it's going to be a sad moment in time for the side of Team QUESO, losing 2 members, especially Jabba without head armor. That's just a stupid mistake.
Jabba without head armor, Jabba without his hut. All very tragic for him, I dare say. Now, what might also be tragic is how Lucky is going to get fragged here, and yep, so he does. It's quite a bit of economy damage that the Heretics managed to do to Team QUESO, but Team QUESO still getting the result at the end. 14-14. This match is going incredibly close. A bit, well, against our expectations, as we've said before, and with that, it is, well, being shown that Team QUESO clearly have, well, put down a good performance so far, and who knows, maybe actually have potential here. Might actually have learnt a lot in their downtime, so to speak. Might actually have been practicing incredible amounts. But still, it's so peculiar to see. It's not what you'd expect in the slightest.
Now, but of course, as we said before, Heretics has a lot of demos on HLTV which you could download and try to anti-threat with.
Absolutely.
Whereas for Team QUESO, you can barely find any research material. That might also indicate there might be a little bit of mal-preparation for Heretics. Luckily, however, they will get a double opening kill with Maka taking down both the Claren and Mick. And that means we now have a 5-on-3, and Heretics seemingly coming back strong after losing, of course, their eco round. And now we are waiting. Will it be Team QUESO to once more turn it around? Or will they lose it in their entirety as Maka gets another kill onto humans? And his inhuman skills will possibly bring Heretics to the map point.
We see Maka kind of, well, Thinky kind of hopping around a little bit, but at the end of the day, the result is there for Heretics. They get the 15th round, and with that, they manage to achieve map point. And so far, that map point means that there is a solid chance for Heretics to actually get this first map now. Means that Team QUESO, regardless of how hard they fought, would actually have to give off Nuke, and which would mean that they have to put down a better performance on Inferno. Inferno being their map, perhaps, but Inferno also carrying the risk of not allowing QUESO to even progress further, them being sent immediately to the loser bracket. We'll see it now as there is a quick engagement. It is the Claren pushing up heavily with the rest of his teammates, and Thinky does get a good opening frag. There it's Nivera who goes down. Makes for Lucky, though, gets the refrag on Thinky quite immediately. Look at that HP on Mick as well, by the way. Does go down in the end to the hands of Lucky. Yaba takes out Kimoshima in the meantime. It's a 3v2 now. It's going around and around. Maka takes out humans, and the Claren along with Yaba are the last two people standing on the Team QUESO side.
Yeah, Maka is actually standing by on towards the rafters here at the B side. We'll get a wallbang onto the Claren as well. And that's his second frag of the round. X-Match will clear it out 16-14. Heretics win their own map pick, and at least they will be happy with that one. But will it be enough going in towards Inferno? Of course, the map pick being set up by, of course, the side of Team QUESO. And they have been surprisingly well so far, and I'm curious to see if they will be able to transfer that into a map win coming in soon.
Yes, I do believe that QUESO here did a good, well, a damn fine job of their performance. It's QUESO who actually, you know, they fought way harder than we anticipated. You know, it was QUESO who have the much worse ranking. It's them with the 211 in HLTV. You'd have thought when you saw them here from the get-go, might even be, you know, a stomp, you know, might even be a situation where Team Heretics...
Be happy they get 5 rounds or something.
Be happy they get 5 rounds, Team Heretics. They just continue, no problem whatsoever. And at the end of the day, you know, it's Team Heretics now who have fought, eventually got on the win, but it's Team QUESO who did put down a valiant and strong performance.
Of course, being impressed by Team QUESO so far, we need a little bit of a briefer. I think you guys at home will need some as well. Of course, have to reimagine all the odds that we've seen so far. And after a short 5-minute break, we will be back with the second map. Of course, that will be Inferno and possibly the map that Team QUESO will win. Don't go anywhere.